So to the more recent subscribers to my YouTube channel, today I'm on what I call a county ride. So I've set myself this personal challenge to ride in every county in the UK, and today I'm heading to one of the counties that's very close to home for me, the City of London. I thought no better day for it. So when I get there, I'll bring you back. Did I miscount that, or was there only 8 chimes then? It's 9 o'clock. Anyhow, good morning guys. Those are the bells of St Mary le Bow. And St Mary le Bow are the bells of Bow, the Bow bells. And to some of you, that will tell you that I'm in the City of London. So a church of some description has been on this site since Saxon times. There are some early recorded writings of a church being destroyed here by a tornado in the year 1091. But there's no record of any bells being rung in that church, but there are some records of bells being rung in a church in the 1460s. And that church was destroyed by fire in 1666, the Great Fire of London. Sir Christopher Wren rebuilt this. This was the first church that he rebuilt after the Great Fire, because it was considered to be the second most important church in London at the time, after St Paul's Cathedral. So Sir Christopher rebuilt this one, and then the Germans decided to drop a bomb on it in the Second World War, and destroyed a good deal of it. It was then replaced and rebuilt in the same design as Wren had built it. Unfortunately though, the bells, those Bow bells, were destroyed by that bomb. They collapsed through the tower and were smashed on the floor, so they had to recast them, and the new bells started ringing out. I think it was in the late 50s, early 60s. Now, let's go and have a look at this. This is next to St Mary le Bow Church. Who is this chap over here? Anybody know who that is? Any ideas, anyone? I'll tell you who that is. So that is John Smith, also known as Captain John Smith, who was a leader and instrumental in the setting up of Jamestown, Virginia in the New World, the first English settlement, the first permanent English settlement in the New World. There we go. And he was a parishioner of St Mary le Bow. Quite a big chap, wasn't he? So I hear some of you shouting, Tim, you ride in London all the time. How can London be a county ride all of a sudden? Well, this is the City of London. There's what most people think of as London, it's Greater London. Inside Greater London are 33 separate boroughs or local authorities, and inside of them is the central business district, which is called the City, and it actually is the City of London, and it happens to be the UK's smallest county. I can probably ride end to end in about 10 minutes. So why did I come and do that today? Because today is Bank Holiday Monday and the UK is in the middle of a lockdown. And as you can see, despite me sitting outside the Bank of England, just over there, apart from the odd bus, I'm the only person here. I'm pretty certain I'm probably being watched by about 50 different CCTV cameras at the moment. There's some fantastic buildings there. Look at this one behind me here. That's the Royal Exchange. A fancy name for what is actually just a shopping centre. It's got some fancy boutiques and things like that. Fantastic building, though. Like I say, there's the Bank of England behind me over here. Just over there is the Mansion House. That's where the Mayor of London lives. No, I'm not talking about Sadiq Khan. The City of London has its own mayor. Sadiq Khan is the Mayor of Greater London, more of a political post. But the ceremonial Mayor of London, the City of London, lives in the Mansion House just over there. I can't for the life of me remember the chap's name. Oh no. Right, shall we go and have a look at some of the sites then? You've already seen St Mary le Bow. There's so much history around here. I would never be able to show you 1/10 of the history in some of these buildings. Not without making this vlog go on for hours and hours and hours, and I'm not going to do that. Has anyone seen that movie, 28 Days Later? This feels exactly like that. There's just nobody here. UK in the middle of a pandemic, and here's me in the city all alone. It's 28 Days Later, the remake. The city's never been so quiet. I swear if I started shouting it would echo. So I think that giant metallic building over there is the Lloyd's Insurance building. I'm doing that from sight only, I haven't a clue, but I think I've seen that one in TV programmes before. We'll ride over that way and have a look in a minute. I might be right, I might be wrong. Oh, there's some cold wind ripping through these buildings. I told you it would be cold today. It's freezing. I think it's about 8 or 9 degrees at the moment. After the 25 degrees of yesterday, oh, God, it feels cold. These little alleyways are like wind tunnels. I won't try and get too much of that on the. I won't try and get too much of those tall buildings on this camera. I'll wait for the 360 camera later, I think. But let's see. Was I right? Is this the Lloyd's building? Lloyd's Insurance Brokers. I can't see any signs, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Right, let's stop over here and then have a look at some of these big buildings. Wow, that one goes up high, doesn't it? It's called the Leadenhall building. No idea who's in there. I'm sitting in a wind tunnel here, I'm going to move. It's horrible. So this building then, known as the Walkie Talkie, and now my camera isn't distending the picture as it goes up, it actually bulges out at the sides, hence it's called the Walkie Talkie, but it also has a concave front on it. It's very difficult to make it out on this camera. I'll move over the other side of the road in a moment, but it's got a concave front, and when they built it, what they didn't think of was that when the sun shone on this side of the building, it actually worked like a magnifying glass and radiated the sun straight down into these shop fronts. And yes, there are reports of it melting plastic, and there was a car damaged by the sun's beam that was reflecting off of this building in one heated spot. Let's go over the other side of the road and see if you can see the concave nature of the front of the building. I don't know how they fixed it in the end. I had heard that they put netting on the front of some of the windows, but I don't see any netting. But they must have fixed it somehow. Maybe they changed the glass. Don't know. Yeah, I think you can just about make it out now. It's certainly sticking out further at the top than it is at the bottom. So if we go up from street level, and I'll hold the camera as straight as I can. Nah, really doesn't show up on the camera very well at all. But it's just a funny shaped building. Oh, and before we go, I should also mention, of course, it's called 20 Fenchurch Street. Yeah, a bit boring, isn't it? That's why people call it the Walkie Talkie. And the wonderful thing about the city is it's full of these lovely little passageways where all the city workers come and have their lunch, and I would never ever be able to see it like this on a normal weekday. You just couldn't ride down here, it'd be full of people. And whilst we talk about people, there's actually only a population in this county of, they estimate about 9,000 people actually live in the City of London, but there's over 1 million who come here to work every day. There's lots of roadworks. I can't get 28 days later out of my head now. I think I've seen about 3 people so far. It's amazing. The only moving things are buses. No, it's a lie. I did see another cyclist. That's the Leadenhall building again. Just a big wedge. Just round the corner from that was the Gherkin. We saw that one a moment ago, I think. So apart from having its own mayor, the City of London is run by the London Corporation, and they administer everything that happens in the City of London. And that includes its own police force. The Greater London has the Metropolitan Police, but the City of London has the City of London Police. It's a better shot of the Bank of England. That's the Duke of Wellington, a statue that was erected in 1844. How do I know that? I can see it written on the bottom. And there's the Mansion House. That's where the Mayor lives, the Mayor of London. And then amongst all these high-rise buildings, you come across a little gem like that. That's the parish church of St Stephen Walbrook. Originally in the 1400s the church was built on what was the Walbrook stream, one of the hidden rivers underneath London now. They're all just piped into the Thames. There's so many little streams and rivers that have disappeared. But this church was built on the banks of that stream, and then again following the London fire in 1666 this one was destroyed and rebuilt by Sir Christopher Wren on this site, so it's been there since then. As you can see, it's got a new top on it. I don't know the full history of it, but possibly because of, again, lots of bombing around here in the Second World War, so it's got new bits all built onto it. Just amazing to see a little old church like that though. And then if I turn around and show you what else it's sitting next to. And then this thing behind me. They're all just office blocks. Big financial houses and stockbrokers, insurance companies. This is the Walbrook building. There's a girl sitting there on reception and the whole building is empty. You have to wonder, why is she there? On a bank holiday Monday, honestly. Who's going to go in there on a bank holiday Monday? There's a few people around now. We're getting closer to the River Thames. Let's go down there and have a look. This is all very cycle friendly when it's empty of people though. Find these black posts throughout the city. It's a kind of indicator that you're still in the city as long as you keep seeing these black posts. They have some special ones with some plaques on the border of the city where you go into the other surrounding boroughs. I'll see if I can find some of them on my way out. So that bridge is London Bridge. Should I say the new London Bridge? I'm sure there's another London Bridge somewhere in the world. Perhaps somebody can remind me in the comments. The big building over the back there is the Shard. I think that might possibly still be the tallest building in Europe. I don't know. Certainly was at one point. So London Bridge then, why did I come down and have a look at that one? Well, it's kind of unique in that the border of the city of London, is halfway across the river. So in the middle of the river, the City of London ends and the London Borough of Southwark begins. But London Bridge is owned wholly by the City of London, and so rather uniquely, the bridge is owned by one corporation, but the water flowing underneath it is owned by the London Borough of Southwark. And that's unique to the UK. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the UK. All our bridges, if they happen to be on a county boundary, the bridge is split in two. One half of the bridge belongs to one county, one half belongs to the other. But not with the case of London Bridge. Tell you what though, I've only been down by the river for 5 minutes and I am absolutely freezing. There's a cold wind blowing along the river. I'm going to have to get away from here. It's really cold. So I'm now at the west end of the city. Literally, as I say, only about 10 minutes from all those large buildings I was having a look at earlier. But come down here to have a look at St Paul's Cathedral. You've seen this on one of my videos before, but as we're doing the city, you can't come here without seeing St Paul's. My pedals are squeakier than ever today, really annoying me. I can't do anything about it, I've not got any oil on me. So that is called the Monument. It's about 200 feet tall, and again it's designed by Sir Christopher Wren, and it was finished in 1671 to commemorate the Great Fire of London of 1666. I've mentioned that fire a couple of times already this morning, but it's quite big in the history of London, or the history of the city of London. The fire burned for 3 to 4 days and destroyed 2/3 of the whole city. There's over 13,000 people's homes burnt in one fire. It was a proper firestorm, and it was said to have started just behind me. I have to be able to show you the sign, and it started in Pudding Lane. And this is the very spot where the fire is thought to have started. And there we have the kiddies' nursery rhyme. So with the monument in the background there, having shown you that one, I'm going to start making my way home. I've got to get this one edited and put out there today to continue with my daily vlogs at the moment, so I haven't got time to spend all day down here. This one's so close to home for me, I can always come back and show you some more. So if anybody's got anything that they really wanted to see that I've missed out today, leave it in the comments below and we'll get it next time. But for now, I'm going to leave the city behind me and make my way home. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. If you did, leave a thumbs up down below, and also leave me a comment. I always like to read your comments, you know I do. And I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers then, guys. Ta-da.